Welcome again. It is still Good Morning Anambra Weekend Edition, and we're still rolling Ijama and Dave. Thank you for staying tuned. And now let's talk about us, the thing that really concerns us, the way we live in this environment. We want to look at Anambra and its environment, keeping Anambra clean. We have Honorable Commissioner who has joined us. He's Architect Mike Okonkwo, Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Anambra State. Welcome, Mike.
Good morning.
Okay, keeping Anambra clean. It's a new slogan that just came up, and we want to find out what we need to do to make sure that this environment is very clean, especially now that the rainy season is setting in if it has not started. Welcome again, Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning, dear Anambra.
So how do we go about it?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for always bringing me to speak to India Anambra. We do it, or we go about it by partnering. The government cannot do it alone. People who actually do create the waste should help us collect and remove them. We have systems that we have put in place for people to do it. We just ask people to obey those systems.
Well, I actually want to commend you for what you're doing, because we have seen a new Anambra since you came in. But there's still work to do, because this is a very busy state, especially when it's housing so many commercial cities. These are one of the reasons why we generate heavy waste in the state. Onitsha is still a problem to us when it comes to cleanliness. What do we do?
Okay, so in Onitsha, we found that in addition to housing the biggest market in Africa, and perhaps arguably in the world, we have had a surgence of returnees. You know, I had to do my research because I kept wondering what is going on. Within the last 2 years, it has gotten worse. And then we realized, well, we called people to come home, Think Home Initiative, come home, leave these troubled areas that you are in the north. Well, what we get is that we have now increased population, and so the waste mounts even more. So what we are doing then is to reassess our resolve and put things in place to make them work. In fact, His Excellency Chief Dr. Willie Obiano is always on me on this, and because he will not accept anything less than sustained, clean Anambra State. And so we have devised methods. We have actually increased number of state-paid contractors who collect waste and remove them in Onitsha, Newi, Oka, Ekulobia, parts of Ihela, all the emerging urban, metropolitan areas. Then we have the people where we're trying something. We're trying to privatize waste management. And so we've also started what we call pay direct contractors who actually operate in the inlands and also areas where these paid contractors cannot get because of bad road and such. And so we have people, mostly people from the neighborhoods, especially organized neighborhoods. We have the people collect the waste, remove them, then collect levies from the people. I mean, we find that this works better. For instance, if you come to Awada, they have landlord associations, and we have the landlord association appoint for themselves somebody that will be approved by the Ministry of Environment. They collect the waste. We tell them where to, because you have to dispose it properly. We have 5 government-approved dump sites in Anambra State. 2 in Onitsha, 1 on Onitsha Road, Owerri Road in Onitsha, 1 in Nkwele Zunaka, another one in Newi, where we call Wabatiozu dump site. We have one here in Oka. Of course, the one in Oka is temporary because we can't have it there. We're looking for a permanent place, but albeit it's here in Oka. And then we have one in Ekulobia. So all these areas we have put, and then people collect waste and dispose them there, whether the government paid or these pay direct.
Okay, so how do you handle those pay direct arrangements to ensure that there are no exploitations of people living in that vicinity? People due to the government and go have power, then they can use it at their own will.
Wow, great question. In fact, just yesterday, His Excellency wrote an email to all involved. That means myself, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Dr. David, who is the Executive Chairman of Board of Internal Revenue, and he ordered, enforce, and make sure, in fact, I'm quoting here, and make sure that nobody is cheated in this. So, and that's why we have people who are periodically vetted. In fact, that's why we have people from the neighborhood, and they're periodically vetted to make sure that we have standard tariffs that we give them, so you can't charge people more than that. And first things first, I always tell them, you must provide the services before you start collecting. Because we know that the thing that's really wrong is to go to people and start collecting when you haven't given them service. Truly, if you collect and clean and remove, people will be glad to pay. Because these tariffs are not really that much. I mean, we're talking about a flat, I think they get paid, they're supposed to pay like $3,600 a whole year to collect and remove the waste. I mean, it's not that really bad. And I think the collection is even staggered, so you don't have to pay at once. But the people that we charge or we approve to do these things must do the service first.
Okay, but in line with David's question, that you said that it's the landlord association that contracts these people. So do they have any direct link to your office?
No, they don't contract them. In fact, I was just giving that as an example. Okay. We have the markets, we have the organized neighborhoods. Some areas are not so organized. But regardless, the people are actually vetted and contracted by the Ministry of Environment. And very soon I'll start to publicize the people who are authorized to operate in the respective neighborhoods, so there will be no confusion. Okay, so in the markets, the reason we do this, like I said, so we know who we're dealing with. In the markets, we're dealing with the market leaders. We get people from there, vet them, approve them, and then monitor them. Now, that's the structure. But then we talk about individuals. I want people to start changing their attitude on how to deal with waste. Waste is everybody's problem. If the environment is clean, we all benefit. You talked about the rainy season. We have to change this attitude of dumping waste in the drainages. People take pictures and then they, malign the name of the commissioner and then, launch abuses. I don't mind. But I want people to know it's not the commissioner that put those things in the waste in the drainage channels. It's human beings that actually, I don't know how somebody can actually knowingly take refuse and put it in the perhaps they don't know, and that's why we have been, talking about, making a lot of sensitization campaign to let people know if you put waste in the drainage channels, it blocks, at some point it will block and then the water will back up. So what we're saying, number one, do not drop waste in the drainage channels. Bag your waste before you drop them at the designated areas. In fact, very soon, I would beg in the Anambra to start what we call sorting, put plastics aside. And by the way, speaking of plastics, I'm about to introduce something. Something that I've been toying with. In Lagos State now, by the way, waste problem is not just in Anambra, it's a worldwide problem. And everybody is thinking about ways to do it. So in Lagos State, they've now started to say parents have to bring like bags or some measure of plastics as way of paying for school fees. I mean, that's how serious this is. So they're saying, bring it and then we'll subsidize it for school fees. And I thought that's brilliant. And I'm thinking that maybe, since I cannot get involved in the school system, I will start in the areas that I can control. The sanitation levy. So maybe at some point, I'm still working it out. Maybe I'll have people, if you bring certain amounts of plastic, I'll give you reduced tariff. I mean, so maybe that will get people.
Money.
Exactly. And then I found also that the scavengers that we see picking trash, plastics and so on from our trash bins have a union. And I've scheduled a meeting with that union. I want to really talk with them. Let's see who you are. Let's organize and structure the way you pick these things rather than go into our dumpsters and pick those things. Pick them. Pick them on the from this. Well, first we don't want people to drop them on the floor, but if they do, you pick it from there, package it, bring it to a weigh station. It gets weighed and you get paid. We have we're starting recycling. There's a company, a private company, in Anambra State now that has started the recycling of plastics. It's a very well.
Where is this cited?
Well, this is actually cited within Abatete area because he had just come to the government now to make himself known, and I was shocked. He said he did it on purpose. He didn't want. If he had come to the government, we would think that he needed our help or what. So he had done it for 2 years, and I was shocked to find out that he's actually started to supply raw materials to, Millennium Plastics, Phenoplastic. These are all local people. Let me tell you, do you know that people collect plastics that you waste, package them, send them to China to be crushed and changed into pallet, then bring it back to Nigeria? I mean, look at that.
Really? When we can do that?
When you can actually do it.
Okay, we'll hear more about that, Honorable Commissioner. Let's go on a short break. We're coming back.
Me, I am ready for the party. Oh, yeah. I want all this smart. I go really early. Oh, I know your story. I go Yaba to buy material. I go time my daily. Yeah. You gonna say I don't. If you see my gele, it go wound everybody. Gele. Let me guide you to yellow. Let me guide you to yellow. Let me guide you to yellow.
3G is great. 4G is better. You don't know what you're missing till you experience it. Upgrade to a 4G device and SIM SMS Get to 141 to enjoy double data on Nigeria's widest 4G network.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Okay, you're welcome back. It is still Good Morning Anambra. We're looking at how to keep Anambra State clean with Honorable Commissioner Architect Mike Okonkwo. You're welcome again.
Thank you.
We were talking about recycling, but I know that there's this people that you hosted on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the trash tag, the youths that were involved in this.
Yes.
So what is it all about?
Okay, actually, I was just telling your co-host that I was going to express my delight in our youths and well-meaning citizens of Anambra State actually tagging on to a phenomenon that's really going around in the world now. What it is, because I started by saying that this trash problem, waste problem is everybody's problem. So the world has now found that the government cannot do it alone. So people were actually, somebody started it. They would take a picture of a place that's really very dirty with a lot of waste. They will bag this waste and take a picture to show before and after. They will post it on the internet and they challenge you to do the same. And it's going all over. In fact, I was just working out how to reach out to our people to do it. Before, I saw a group of very progressive young people. I mean, they are not people that you don't see every day. They are very, very active on the internet, talking about social issues. And they organized themselves, and without me getting involved, started doing this. And I saw them, and I invited them to, my office. And I wanted to encourage them to say that I don't want to get involved in what they're doing because that's something I don't like to do. I don't want to get it mixed up in the government thing. Let it be their thing, but I'll give them support. The support, I'll give them logistics. I'll get them kitting equipment. In fact, I have somebody now bringing in gloves, dust masks. I've also gotten a lot of boots from Fidelity Bank that I'll give to them. And then I tell them, bag it, leave it there, alert me, and then I'll have a garbage truck pick it up, because they're really doing great things. So I kudos to the trash tag team.
Yes, still on that government-people partnership, you talked about separating of these wastes.
Yes.
But some people find it actually, difficult to know how to separate these wastes. How do we do this? How would an average person who wants to separate his or her waste do that?
Okay, it's again, great questions you're asking me this morning. That is true. It's easier said than done, truly. But actually, it is easy. There's what we call biodegradable waste. You have when you peel yam, that thing is very degradable. You don't have a problem. The tomato wastes, leaves from when you were preparing some leaves for soup and so anything that has to do with food that you cook and eat, most of them are biodegradable. So that's what we call organic waste. So you put that aside. Then you have bottles that are glass, breakable. Those should be put aside separately. Then anything plastic, pure water sachet, bottled water, plastic, even plastic chairs, all these things are plastics. You put them aside. Then paper, you put them aside. I want to start the recycling thing or sorting thing in markets because that's where we have a lot of problems. There's a place, OJD in Onisha, I'm having a lot of problems. I went and met with the people doing these aluminum windows and doors and so on. Those things get wrapped in plastic. And what do? They just scatter the plastic. And that's what people see. And then it winds up and out. So I went and met with them. I said, please, when you open if you get things ordered and they deliver it for you, remove the plastics, tie them up, leave it there, we'll pick them up. Don't just scatter them everywhere. Then if you remove things from boxes, which is cartons, flatten them, break them and tie them, leave it there, we'll pick it up. You see, if these things are done neatly, you will see a change. But if they scatter, it doesn't look good. So to recap, I want people to start doing it until we really, at some point, it will become a law, like it is in the US. You have to, but then we'll give you waste bins. The waste bins are color-coded. So you know that blue is recyclable, which is like bottle and so on. And so, but before we do that, start doing your own. Tie it, and then that will be the way to contribute. Biodegradable, which is, food wastes. You have glass, you have plastic, and you have paper.
Let's move over to our environment directly where we live. I know that this announcement that the government puts up very soon about keeping your environment clean, and I saw where the government was directing us to cut grasses around our houses. It's so pathetic. So you will need government now to come and tell you that if you are big, too much, get caught or get China, that kind of a thing. It's I don't know where to start, but let's start with drainages in Onitsha. As I was coming to work yesterday, I saw the drainages around the Zix roundabout. They were all filled, and then whenever it rains, the water starts spreading on the road. And we're wondering, what do we do to open up those drainages so that water will find its way? Otherwise, the flood is there staring us in the face.
Yes. Okay, so recall that as soon as I came in as the Commissioner for Environment, that was actually the second task. The first one was to join a team an ESCO directive that His Excellency gave to us, myself, meaning the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Honorable Commissioner for Transport, Honorable Commissioner for Trade and Commerce, supported by all the security agencies. He charged us with removing people who were trading on the streets, because the people who were trading on the streets were people who easily put things in the drainages. And in fact, while we were doing that, we found that people actually do build on top of the drainages. They would just use something like wood slats to create a bridge, and then they'll build on top of it. And so we removed that. Then I followed it up with the Silton, which is removing wastes from the drainage channels. Now, Onitsha otherwise is well planned with drainage. With drainages, and so it's just to keep it clean. So we once we removed, that's why people didn't see a lot of flooding last rainy season, because we were proactive. We removed. Then, if you recall, in Orca too, we did the same thing. The the troublesome Sami Sparkle area along Obunago axis would have been really unbearable last rainy season, were it not for the fact that His Excellency ordered, and then we desilted that whole area. Then the 6th Avenue or Eke Oka axis, we desilted it too. I mean, we did all this, but of course, 1 year, it's all getting clogged again. So we are about to embark. I am very, very happy to announce that His Excellency has graciously approved that we embark on desilting of drainages again. But this time, after we desilt, clean the drainages, we will start to enforce the law. Yes, there is a law against people throwing things into the drainages. We'll have enforcement. You put it in there, you get charged, because we now have mobile courts. You get charged to court. And so, but first we'll clean it, and then we'll start charging.
We'll talk more about that when we come back. Let's take another break to bring in voices from the streets.
Cleanliness has to start from each and every one of us, because someone can be driving now and finish eating something and throw it out, which is wrong. Normally, you're supposed to have a dustbin in your car. When you finish eating, you throw it in your refuse bin. Then the general sanitation is allowed. If you have a shop outside, you clean your gutters and everything. It's part of keeping Anambra clean.
Let's implement a policy that on a clean-up day, if we come to your environment where you are living, if your drainage system is blocked, you that is living there will take the responsibility.
The government should instill some discipline in people. If when they want to mess up the compound, there should be a law banning it, so that anybody caught should be punished. It's the question of making law. Once you make the law, implement the law, enforce the law.
Our refugees, like this waterproof takeaway packs, but if you use it, don't throw it inside the gutter. You can even yourself burn it, because if it enters gutter, it just spoils on the main road.
The individuals, if they could imbibe the habits of cleanliness, yes, just like an agent said, cleanliness is next to godliness. If you could keep your home, if you keep your environment clean, the state will be a clean place for everyone to live. That's my viewpoint. Individuals to be clean, individuals to keep the environment neat and clean, and also for the authorities to also help out in keeping the environment clean. When these parties, the individual and the authority, when they collide together, when they collaborate together, I believe we'll have a clean state, we'll have a clean environment.
As Nanis no maloma webanilo. Onye malụ ka o si edobe ezinụlọ ngwulubi ọcha, iwe si etu a wepụta n'obodo anyị abụ Anambra. Ọkachasị n'ebe ikpofu ahịhịa, etu a bụ mmiri na-ezo, onye bute ọ na-awụ ya mana gota mana etiti ụzọ. Anyị nwa bụ ndị nne, mostly ndị nne anyị na-afụ maka ahịhịa, ndị nna amụrụ maka ahịhịa. Anyị enye aka, onye ọbụla enwe waste bin, ebe a na-adọbachi ya, ndị a na-ebu ya bịa eburu ya, karịa ịdị na-agwụchi ezi ma ụzọ ọbụla.
We welcome you again, and we would like to thank those of them that talked to us on the streets. You really made very valid points, especially the last woman. So, anyhow on the road, it simply means na madam abatamudi begi. Okay, we welcome you again, Honorable Commissioner. And for those of you that have been calling, now we'll start taking your calls. Wherever you are, you can start making your calls using the number on the screen. Yes, the silting of environment. Yeah, there's something you said about when you finish the silting, you start enforcing the law. But I'm thinking, is it not good for us to also have a monitoring team? Okay, because our people are so difficult to deal with. A monitoring team that will be, looking out for all those people and picking them up.
Again, when you look at His Excellency Chief Dr. William Obiano's governance style, I mean, you can not but applaud. I don't know if people know what Ocha Brigade means. It's Operation Keep Clean and Healthy Anambra. Mm-hmm. That's what Ocha means. So, and these people were formed by His Excellency to monitor, enforce, and make sure that people do not mess up the environment. It is true that sometimes they digress and do other things or whatever, but that is what it is. But what we're doing now is to make sure that they are, just like you have ATMA, who control the traffic and so on. OCHA Brigade is supposed to make sure that the environment is kept clean.
Are they directly under your ministry?
No, they are not. It's an agency,
Okay.
but we work with them.
Okay.
We work with them. What we're trying, the little lacks we have is that we didn't have the mobile court. So when they catch people, the processes of taking the people to court is not
a little bit.
Yeah, it's yeah.
We'll have someone join us in the studio. Hello. Okay, that's all for now.
So I'm just about to say that we are happy now that the mobile court is operational in some areas and will be in most places very soon, and so people can be charged easily.
All right. Hello. 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 Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Anambra. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello, my name is
Arinze from Nanka. Go on.
I'm very much interested in what the organization is doing.
Okay.
And I'm a volunteer and I'm looking for a way.
Could you please speak up?
Can you speak up a little bit?
Hello?
Hello. Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, I think I'm looking for a way to get in touch with Anambra, and I would like to protect the clean environment challenge.
Okay.
But sometimes because first of all, so I don't know how to go about it.
Okay.
I will not every week because if I can challenge, I get to myself. I'm working with some of volunteers that the 54 project officer. So I think I'm going to be challenged.
All right.
In my community. So I'm very much like them. I can think. I want to do one thing.
Okay, your voice is.
I think he's
we get
talking
the
about
point.
the trash tag challenge.
Yeah, we get the point. Yes.
Thank you. Arinze.
Thank you very much, Arinze.
Well, Arinze, this is the Honorable Commissioner. I'm addressing you now. I really, really do appreciate you. In fact, the enthusiasm that I've seen in our people gives me hope. It lets me know that the problem of waste, like the governor said to me, he had given me a challenge. What do you do about this plastic that's taking over our lives? That's a direct quote from His Excellency. And so when I see people like Arinze stepping up to say, I want to help, how do I do it? Arinze, you may come to my office at the State Secretariat in Oka, Honorable Commissioner's Office, Ministry of Environment. And if I'm not there, my AA or PA or anybody in the office will take your information and I'll pass it on to the trash tag team. I know that they are now starting to form zones, and so they will get you on. I thank you for your interest.
All right, thank you very much, Arinze. Let's see who else is there.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. This is Arinze from Kansas.
Okay.
The network has been bad. I didn't hear you clearly. I don't know how possible.
The Honorable Commissioner has addressed you, Arinze.
Okay, he said, are you listening?
Yes, I'm listening.
You can go to the Ministry of Environment,
State
Secretariat, and then get in touch with his administrative assistant or PA and give them your information. He will now help you link you up to the trash tag team. And also, we had the trash tag team here on Weekend Show on Saturday. Yeah. You can also collaborate with them on Facebook.
And the social media.
Yes, on the social media. And I think it's taking a traction already. So you might find it difficult to get them. Just write trash tag on Facebook and you get a link direct to the team. Thank you, Arinze, for calling. There was a comment made during the Vox Pop that I wanted you to react to live now about burning.
Oh, yes.
I want you to clarify maybe the environmental dangers or things we can also burn or not.
Okay, when the voices from the streets, one of the respondents said, well, and I cringed. We don't approve burning of refuse because of obvious reasons. Number one, the smoke pollutes the air, and then of course there is a danger that when you burn, you might get to other things, and before you know it, you have a neighborhood fire going. So we don't approve burning of any kind of waste. Just bag your waste, place them properly where we say you place them, and we'll take it from there. When it gets to the dump site, we already know how to deal with it. Please do not burn your waste. Take them to the proper places.
All right, take them to the proper places. There's also a question I want to ask.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires pushing yourself. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bornvita is packed with vitality and a great taste.
Okay, we welcome you back. Still keeping Anambra State clean wherever you are. Honorable Commissioner, okay, Dave, you wanted to say something?
I was asking about some of this waste that we find difficult to recycle. Is there a way to reduce its production at the first instance? There was a time the issue of this takeaway became an issue. You find it literally everywhere. How do we manage that?
Okay, recall that the World Environment Day just passed, the one of 2018. The theme was plastic and what to do with plastics. And in fact, during that period, a lot of people came up with ideas. For instance, you can start by policing yourself. If you're going to Ruban store, for instance, you can take your own bag. When you get there, they will just put everything you buy in your own tote bag, this canvas bag. When it gets dirty, you wash it. You reuse. That's what we do in America. When you're going to the supermarket, you take your own bag so that you don't come back with all these plastic bags. Before you know it, Ruban store will no longer be bringing, plastic bags, and people making those plastic bags will not have, because everything in life is demand and supply, right? If you don't demand it, they will no longer supply, and that kills that one. So we'll start with ourselves by using reusable bags so that you don't do that. Then in terms of takeaway packs, the same thing. Go with your food flask. In fact, it's even more hygienic because you know what is in there, rather than that. So somebody's there?
Okay. Hello? Hello? I think hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Chibike. I'm from Onitsha College.
Okay, go on.
Go
on, let's hear you.
What do you want to say?
What I'm talking about the sanitation is that it is good for somebody to be doing sanitation. Like last time in the third countries in Onitsha, there was a great danger here as a nurse. Anyway, what I'm saying is that it's good for sanitation. What you are saying is good. But the government needs to keep more the takeaways dustbin, or what are they calling it again?
All right.
What's your name?
Chibike.
Okay, Chibike.
Yeah.
Okay. Chibike, this is the Honorable Commissioner speaking. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm just 18.
18, okay.
You
sounded young, and I was about to... No, listen, and I was about to applaud you for getting involved. We have a system now that we're going to get involved with school children and, catch them young and teach them how sanitation works. But you did say something about, you thought it was called takeaway bins. No, we call them receptacles. we are aware that we need to put more receptacles on the streets so people will have more places to place their waste. So thank you, Chibike, for that idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
So I'm just 18.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is there another child or still Chibike? Hello, what's your name?
My name is Anambra.
Where are you
I'm
calling?
calling from
Enugu.
Yes.
Go
Okay,
on. Let's say what you want to say.
I'm saying that the government should try, that not try, that they should try and put support out of things with everything, so that the children can be most probably in school.
All right.
What's his name?
Thank you.
Afam from Enugu.
Afam, you sound like Chibike.
Yes, that took us much.
Okay, what did he say?
He talked
The
about.
government should put trash bin in schools.
Yeah, the same thing. Oh, in schools.
Yes.
Okay, but we do have. Actually, you would think schools will be the easiest place to police, right? Because when we were going to school, I'm sure, as were all of you, I mean, that's the first place you teach people how to behave with proper sanitation and proper, we used to have compost. And in that compost, you know that what you put there is organic waste, right?
Yes.
So schools, we are looking into schools. I'm surprised that AFAM is pointing this out. So I'll look at schools because I thought they were an easy sell.
Okay. Honorable Commissioner, I know we have an environmental sanitation day maybe once a month in the state with little or no compliance, because in most cases you see people in the markets and then some people playing or watching films where the time they're supposed to be cleaning the environment. Now we want to find out, is it possible that we'll do this thing maybe bi-monthly so that it will quicken the process of keeping Anambra State clean?
Yes, in fact, we had thought about that idea. Is it not unfortunate that people kick against this sanitation that is done just once a month? If you know how many lawsuits we get trying to challenge that initiative, it boggles the mind. But we do not relent. We go ahead. I mean, they quote some law in Lagos, well, whatever. But we soldier on. We are thinking about doing, like we can do markets and other areas in between. Nobody says that you should wait till the end of the month to do this. Yeah, so that's a great idea. We're exploring it. But the one that we have already, I want people to actually key in and abide by it. By the way, this year, there's something we call, in addition to World Environmental Day, which comes on June 6th, there is one that is called World Sanitation Day. And I just got a letter from the Minister of Environment in Abuja asking that Anambra State host the World Sanitation Day. I've written to His Excellency, Chief Dr. Udo Biano, to graciously approve that we do this, because that will give us an opportunity for the world to see us, see our initiatives, see where we have done well, where we have failed, and also see our challenges and see if we can actually get support from donor agencies, because this is big. So we look forward to that. And if that does come to Anambra State, I invite everybody to participate.
I know. Anambra is doing a lot of hosting now, yes. And that simply means that we're doing very well in this state. And but before we go, Honorable Commissioner, apart from the challenge of not having a mobile court and some other ones that we have seen, are there other major challenges that you are facing in keeping Anambra State clean that you can talk about here? Let's see what we can do, how we can help Anambrarians, to keep Anambra State clean.
Okay. Well, then I will end, or my preamble to ending would be the same way I started. Okay. The challenge is people not cooperating. That's challenge one. If people cooperate, start from the source where you're making this waste. Put it into a bag, cinch it. That means tie it, take it to the designated drop-off point, and drop it there. So what I'm saying in essence, please work with us, participate. Start with yourself. Start with the man in the mirror. That's the one.
Start with the man in the mirror. You want to say something?
No, Concluding.
Okay, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us this morning. Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Architect Mike Okonkwo, thank you. We'll never stop talking about keeping Anambra State clean because this is what we must do. Start from your home, just like he said, and start from the man or your mirror. Very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, in the Anambra. Partner with Anambra State government to make a healthy and clean Anambra State.
And look as clean as our environment commissioner because you're always very clean, taking the lead. Thank you, Dave Opokwasle. Thank you very much for making it happen today. The Good Morning Anambra crew, thank you very much. And we would like to inform you that we'll have news coming at 9 o'clock and also sports that will come thereafter. My name is Sijama Uche, and I've been around with Dave.
I think I'll thank our viewers with the words of the commissioner. Start with the man in the mirror. It's a powerful word in everything you do across board, even today. Dalano.
Okay, see you on Monday.